Hi guys, welcome to another video. I'm Kearan Prem from psychicrecords.org. So if you've been having a problem with repetitive shadows that you see out of the corner of your eye, or an entity or a spirit attachment that keeps coming back to you no matter how many times you try to banish it, send it into the light, sage your home, sage yourself, sage your clothes, sage the neighbors, put protection around your house, you do whatever you want to, whatever banishing ritual you want to, but somehow or the other that entity or that shadow keeps finding a way to come back into your life, and it keeps coming back into your home. I'm going to cut straight to the point. How do you get rid of it? What can you do? And how can you prevent it from happening? And for those of you that stick around until the end, I will share some videos or some photos that I've taken from clients that have shared their experience with me after I've done cleansing for them, and that's for more sensitive viewers to stay away from, but I will give you a warning before I show it, and I'll also give you a tip that everybody can follow on what you can do if you are going into a situation where you know that you're going to experience somebody that has an energy attachment, or somebody who acts as a psychic vampire to you. What can you do at the last minute if you don't have a sage stick, or you can't sage in like the workplace or something? Alright, so let's cut straight to it. Every entity, whether it's humans, animals, insects, whatever, everybody, everything needs something to feed on. Humans feed on vegetables or plants, or some people eat meat, and entities also need some sort of bioenergy to feed off in order to grow themselves, in order to preserve that auric form that they are in. They do not, obviously they can't eat food because they don't have a physical body to digest it. An entity is actually a disembodied person, or usually, and that is the energy form that they are living in. The auric body, the aura is where they are living. So they can't directly feed off the food that we are eating, but what they can do is feed off our bioenergy. There are many different sources of bioenergy, but the easiest that they can feed off is directly making a parasitic relationship to one particular person and then feeding off that particular person's bioenergy. In other words, eating from their aura, so to speak, which is why people who have energy attachments can sometimes feel something standing on the side of them. Usually it's on the left shoulder, from the shoulder down to the elbow, but it can be also at the back, and sometimes they feel something while they are sleeping as well. The hands and the feet are common locations as well that entities feed off. So when you do smudging, house binding, cleansing, visualizations and so on, what you are doing is you're finding a means by which you can weaken this entity's connection to you. But the same way that you have your will, your visualizations and so on, that is powerful, your prayers that are powerful, this entity has also got a will of its own, and sometimes it's very stubborn as well, so it'll keep coming back and find a way to override what you have done. And I'll give you a way to get out of that, but very quickly I'll explain the theory. It finds a way to override that and come back to you, come back into your home, because it's got an energy trail that it follows to come back to you. You can try breaking that energy trail, but it's very difficult. Once this thing keeps coming back again and again, obviously whatever you've done has weakened it quite a lot, so it can't directly feed off your energy for some time. It cannot come into your auric space because you've created this sage bubble, or this visualization bubble around yourself. So it has to get the next available source, which is where your bioenergy is. And what is bioenergy? It's the energy from your life force, your body. And the easiest source is from the skin. The extreme outer layer of our epidermis flakes off and creates a little white dust around the house. That is what house dust is. It's the extreme outer layer of your own epidermis that falls off. So having that away from your body and having a layer of dust around your home is the easiest way for entities to make an attachment to you, because that energy that is basically you, that's a part of your body, it does contain some degree of energy, and that entity can also start to feed off that until it can build itself enough to come and start directly taking energy off your own aura and then building itself up, and eventually it starts to cause damage because your body cannot produce enough positive vibrations. That's why you might find that when you have an entity, it damages your finances or your relationships or whatever. So how do we get rid of that? And the best time to get rid of it is during the dark moon period, but any other time is also good. Saturdays are good, Tuesdays are good. This is because each day is connected with a different planetary vibration, but we'll get into that in another video. So if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, because now I'll be sharing how you can get rid of it, and you can share this with your family and friends if you know they'll benefit as well. The most obvious, clean up your home, remove the dust from your home. After that, even if your home is absolutely spotless and there's no dust and so on, try to find somewhere where there is a little bit of dust and collect that dust in a sheet of paper. Afterwards, you need to take as much salt as can fit in the central portion of your palm where there's a little dip, right? So there's 4 mounds at the top of your hand and the thumb. You need to collect in as much salt as can fit there, and it can go flat as well, right? So that much of salt from your right palm, and you place that with the dust in a square of white cloth. All right. If you don't have white cloth, or white paper can also work, but white cloth is the traditional means. Then you fold up the 4 corners of the white cloth and you tie some string around that to make a bundle. And then after you do that, you need to watch the video on how to make your magic and talismans powerful. I'll post a link in the description box below. You need to then follow that procedure and then bless and invoke the energies to make this little bundle that is basically your bioenergy powerful. You would then need to place it on the points that often draw out energy from your body, which is the root chakra, which is at the back of this at the back where the spine ends, and then place it on the solar plexus. We're talking about the bundle now. You'll place it there and then you'll breathe out with the intention that any energy attachment that is formed on my solar plexus or on my root chakra and anywhere else on your body, let it get caught up in this bundle. Then you take that bundle and then you need to throw it into any sort of flowing water, such as a river or a lake. It needs to be flowing water so it flows away from you, and then you turn around and walk away and do not look back, right? So when you throw it, you need to stand facing the direction that you will walk away. So let's say the river is behind you and you need to walk this way, you would then throw it over your back. All right? Or if you're standing on a bridge, then you can face the river and throw it sideways and keep walking. And then you go back home, you bath, you cleanse, you do your smudging, aura cleansing, whatever. The trick that this does is that the bioenergy gets caught up with the salt, and you then create a binding around it, and then when you throw it into the river, it's the energy trail that has been created from the dust would then start to move away from you, similar to the practice of using puppet magic or some type of North African magic where they use or many types of magic where they use some part of your body like your hair and so on. The reason that I mentioned salt is because salt is something that is connected to the north node of the moon. In other words, Rahu, for those of you that know Vedic astrology, which controls the amount of supernatural influences that can happen in your life. Some people are more prone to it, and I'll show you how you can identify that if you need to protect your children or your family or loved ones. Now, for those of you that stuck around until the end, I will show you something that you can do if you are going into a situation where you don't have a lot of stuff with you, or you have absolutely nothing at all, and you want to protect yourself or somebody else from anybody or anything where you know that your own energy can get caught up or destroyed. At the base of the palm, right here, that's where the bracelet is. If you go up there, that's where and there, right? So about 2 finger spaces above the bracelet. At this point in the palm, that is the point that is connected with the planet or the shadow planet, if I put it that way, Rahu, or the north node of the moon, because the entire astrological chart is placed in the hand as well, like the different planets like Jupiter, Saturn, Sun, Mercury, the Moon, Venus, and that's the south and the north node of the moon. So where the north node of the moon is, that's where you need to apply strong pressure, and then following the steps that I've posted in the video link, how to make your magic and talismans powerful, the link is below. You would then need to take your other palm and then press it down very hard and set the intention on your body. This is also a very powerful psychic point in the body, and if you press down and make your intention here that I'm sealing off my aura from anything negative, that energy goes directly into your body at that time. If you have something red, like a red pen, lipstick, a red eyeshadow or anything else, you can place a small dot there and you can smudge it in or smear it in if you don't want other people to see it, with the intention, following the procedure that I've given on how to make your magic and talismans powerful, with the intention that anything negative then dissipates. So as I've promised, I will now share some pictures. For those of you that are very, very sensitive to energy, I suggest that you don't watch this part. You can share with your family or subscribe. If you want to hear but you know that things trouble you a little bit, I suggest you minimize the screen if you're watching on desktop, or don't look at the camera now when you look, if you're watching from your mobile phone. Sorry, don't look at your screen now. So I had a particular client that had this type of energy attachment, and from the metaphysical background that I come from and the school that I come from, this is one of the methods that I've given to you. I've given you the simplest and easiest method because the other methods are more complicated. It requires a greater deal of training. But what happened with my client is that there was an entity that was sent to her, and it was sent to her by means of a ritual sacrifice of two animals. One was a bird and a chicken, sorry, and the other one was through the ritual sacrifice of a pig. So usually this is quite well hidden because the person who does this sort of thing would then hide how they do it, using certain spells, certain rituals, whatever, to hide it. But I managed to see through it by the grace of my goddess, so I was able to override it and cleanse her of it. And I've attached some photos and I'll show you that. So for those of you that stayed until the end, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Remember to subscribe because I post daily videos. Alright, bye-bye. Like I promised, here's the picture. You can see that it looks like the head of a pig. The snout of the pig is pointing upwards towards the left, and something that looks like the eye below that, and there's even texture, so it looks like the snout and the head and the little bit of the neck. Here you can see something that looks like the bird. The bird has the beak facing towards the left and the tail facing towards the right, and you can even see the little legs at the bottom.